Hello and welcome everyone to the Friday, March 3rd edition of the Contributor Comms team meeting. As usual, a reminder that we do operate under a code of conduct, which basically says to please be respectful of your fellow attendees and speakers and generally be excellent to each other. First off, if there's anyone new on the call today and you would like to introduce yourself and say a little bit about why you're here, you are welcome to do so now. Welcome to unmute or use chat or whatever. Don't know.
Hi, I'm new here. My name is Chad Kroll. I'm a DevSecOps engineer for a company called Raft. Laura kind of gave me the, I guess, let me know about this meeting and kind of let me in on this SIG. So happy to be here and hoping to contribute in any way that I can.
Wonderful. Welcome. We're excited to have you. Did she tell you a little bit about our group in particular, I guess?
I got a brief overview, but if you'd be able to provide more detail, I'd be more than happy.
Sure. So we are the Contributor Comms group, and our mission is basically to make sure that folks in the contributor community know what's going on around the community and to also help communicate the awesome work that contributors are doing externally. So we have the KATES contributors account on Twitter. We post messages to the KDev mailing list sometimes. We help make sure that blog posts actually get published sometimes. Variety of tasks related to communications. We also do a little bit of work with automation, like with our Twitter. We have some automation to grab blog posts that are new from either our main Kubernetes.io website or from the Kubernetes developers website, kates.dev, and just tweet about those. So there's a variety of tasks in that area as well.
Very cool. Thank you.
Welcome, and we're excited to have you. All right, so I added in notes for today into the notes doc. Please do add yourself on myself now. If you have any updates and big wins or new items, do go ahead and add those. Yeah, cool. Perfect. See, folks are starting to add stuff in. So I'll go ahead and start with my quick item, which is that I'm going to be out next week because I'm going to be at Southern California Linux Expo. Chris, are you going to be there or are you available to lead the meeting?
I have not been told to go there, so I'm available.
Nice. So Chris leads the meeting next week.
Got it. Triple make sure this is in here. I'll even prep beforehand. Wow, what an idea.
I hope you don't have to go that last minute.
No, it's fine.
Cool. So then the other item that we have in here so far is a big item. So there is a change going on. The Kubernetes project has been hosting our images, our container images for Kubernetes itself on a registry at gcr.kates.io. And we are trying our best to deprecate that without deprecating that for a variety of reasons.
It's getting deprecated though in April, whether anybody likes it or not.
Yeah.
I will clarify it. Right now, the registry is frozen in April, which means it will not get any updates. However, we are still on a trajectory to exhausting our budget right now in, I think it's like September, October, and we are the most likely option now is that we are going to be removing non-essential images from the registry, which essentially means anything beyond what's needed to bootstrap a cluster. So things like Ingress Nginx, any of the CSI drivers like the AWS CSI driver, the node local, DNS node local cache, anything like that. This will mean that while clusters won't fall over, if they have references to these images, they will break, and they will have to update their stuff to basically point at the new one. That's so far the least damaging path we've been able to come up with, because it's just a essentially it's just like a one line, not even a one line change. You just have to change out the registry address. The policy and exact images are probably going to be decided within the next week. And we are likely going to roll that change out at the same time as the registry freeze. Just because if we start giving multiple deadlines, people are like, so that will be an all hands on deck, all the comms everywhere as much as possible. That's both, publicly, I recommend, letting your internal, your companies know, anything like that. And also check if you're using the old kates.gcr.io, because it's going to be going away. The other thing that we could use boosting on right now is DIMS wrote a tool that will scan your images in your cluster to see if it finds any references to the old registry. It's a kubectl crew plugin. And so while he tweeted about it, and that's got some attention, it'd be good to get an official tweet from the Kate's community account, because we can boost that a bit more widely.
Yep.
Perfect.
One other thing sort of related to this, a blog post or post related to setting up like a pull through cache or mirroring images for your, for people. Like, to be frank, if you're a company and you're depending on a upstream resource to be available all the time, you really shouldn't be doing that. You should be mirroring stuff and have that available to your clusters. And there are several like pull through caches available that can be set up. And so just some guidance on that would probably be good.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I would really like to see somebody take this topic of the case.gcr.io being, affected, and saying, why aren't you running local caches? Right? Like, that needs to be said in a more cohesive way, I feel like.
I'll say one thing that hasn't helped is all the vendors. Like, I've looked at Red Hat, I've looked at Google, I've looked at Amazon, as well as, like, honestly, just a whole slew of blog posts by everyone else. They're all referencing kates.gcr.io.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't think about the blogs. That's a good point. Ooh, let me talk to our blog person.
We did update so Kubernetes, we updated our blog. But yeah, like there's all sorts of references out there to kates.gcr.io.
This will be an extremely silly question, but couldn't kates.gcr.io redirect to someone else?
It's
good luck getting gcr.io redirected.
So there are multiple problems with there. Unfortunately, some of the clients do not respect redirects.
Okay,
right.
I understand. That's the
so unfortunately, like we did try it. We did roll it out. But we broke a lot of people real quick.
Very fast.
So,
it's worse the remedy than the cure. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's always
and
the
that
first question every time I've heard this come up.
yeah, no, like when I tried to
Yeah.
explain this, I was explaining this to Corey Quinn and all the things we had gone through. And finally, I was just throwing issues at him. I was like, you can read these 80 comments if you want to go through all the possible solutions, right?
Yeah.
I was like, but you write a newsletter and have like a reach to all these AWS people. Please say something.
We did publish that blog post about the importance of the change a couple of months ago. So is there any draft of that blog specific about the what Bob and Chris were just talking about, the importance of having a pull-through cache, the need to actually change,
No.
etc.?
There is no blog regarding a pull-through cache. And the big thing is we did publish a blog last year on the new registry.
Yep.
And we published one somewhat recently on the freeze. But
no comms has gone out about the changes that are going to happen.
Yeah,
after the freeze.
and the changes aren't fully decided yet. But we should have that decided probably by sometime late next week. Or the following week at the latest. And the thing is, because our time frame for change is small, we need to get comms out as fast as possible once that policy is decided. We might wind up making pulling the images after KubeCon, because we can potentially get something said on the stage at KubeCon to let people know. But literally every day that we don't, it's costing us tens of thousands of dollars a day. Actually, more than tens of thousands of dollars a day. Yeah, sorry.
It's approaching the hundreds. Last I heard.
Not per day, because we're still in terms of oh no, it's growing.
Oh, it is growing.
Yeah, last year we were 3.6 million. This year we're 4 million.
That's an interesting growth rate.
And that's only to the old registry. That's not even taking account to the AWS bill yet.
So this is important. Let's do things.
Vitally important. We need to treat this just like we did Docker shim deprecation, maybe even more stressful, because we have done work on this already and it hasn't moved the needle.
Yeah. The big thing versus Docker shim is Docker shim broke people when they updated.
Yeah.
Upgraded.
This is going to break people overnight.
This will break people when they go to well, depending on what images we remove. It has potential to break them much more rapidly. The fix is a lot easier.
Right.
But yeah,
people aren't doing it for some reason. That's the weird thing.
Yeah.
People are not upgrading past 1.21 because of the API deprecation in 1.22.
Damn.
That is.
I was wondering if that was going to be a real problem or not.
We have seen the numbers, and that is the primary, that's the primary version people are running. The frustrating thing is that it's honestly not difficult to change and fix the API. There were all graduated APIs in 1.22 or 1.21 or 1.20. Yeah, 1.22.
Yeah.
It just requires changing the various YAMLs to reflect the GA APIs, which have a policy on not changing. But I can rant on that later.
So things we need to do imminently. For Twitter content, sounds like we need to keep an eye on this, of course, and tweet as soon as any new decisions are made on how we're handling this.
And the tweet that can go out right now is
and immediately
the one on Dims's tool.
We need one on Jim's tool.
I will work with Dems and get that written and pushed out.
There's a copy of his tweet with links and everything I posted in the contributor comms channel.
Thank you. I didn't see that, or else I would have done something sooner. Sorry.
I did see that, but I also saw that there was a lot of discussion going on. And I know it's urgent, but it's also very important. So I also don't want to mess up those messages. So that's for Twitter content. And then for blogging, we want to have at least one more blog about setting up mirrors. Anything else we need for blogs as far as we can see right now?
Is it?
Federico?
Yeah, I was just asking if is there anyone that is already writing that? Should I do it, or should anyone here do it? What is the?
It needs to be prioritized, I feel like.
I think
Yeah.
somebody is working on it. One of the blogs, as I can see in InDev channel, someone named Laksha is working on a blog. I don't exactly know if it is particularly about the tool or about the about kates.gcr.io. But I'll connect to them, and then maybe I'll assist them in writing the blog, and I'll add Federico as well in it.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Avinash. Just to be sure that it's the same topic and that it serves the purpose. Because otherwise, we can obviously just try to make something from scratch.
Yeah, I'll connect to him right now, and then I'll inform you later on.
I suppose that in terms of Twitter, for example, apart from the new tool, it wouldn't be bad to perhaps retweet some of the past topic blog tweets that we did on this about the blog, for example, the one that explains exactly. Although I suppose that the DIMS one about the tool gives the necessary background, but if not, we already. I think that the problem is not so much that there's information lacking, is that we don't have enough spreads and impact in terms of making people either aware, or if aware, actually conscious of the possible impacts that it will have.
Can I make a potentially bold suggestion? And say,
Go for it.
let's make this title very eye-catching. Like, say, production will break. If you don't change this one thing, production will go down. Right? Like that could almost be the title.
I agree with you, but I would wait. Like, I'd save that for the post that actually lists the images and things that are going to be removed.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll get to that point.
But yeah, like we need to be thinking,
incisive.
Yeah, like very eye-catchy titles on these.
When we intentionally choose to cause the panic, it's better, right? All right. So
this retweet should be for the old content, right? I mean, why it's changed, and the blog post pointing towards the last year's one, right? I see that.
Yeah, the beyond, tweeting posts on LinkedIn, posts on Reddit, like any place where there is I'd say Kubernetes community could warrant information about this.
This is a very good point, and even broader than this topic is, to what extent should we, and we've discussed this before, should we actually be more active outside of just Twitter, which actually isn't increasing, it's actually decreasing in terms of reach. And we have Reddit, we have Hacker News. We have
go that
we have
route,
Slashdot for people from the 90s. So
yeah, I mean, we could do that. Like, I have no problem using my profiles to submit stuff to those places, right? Like, that's fine. Just as long as we have something to point them to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, like I have no problem being like, all right, who's got the biggest X on social network Y
Yeah.
and go from there. Those people put those things out there like that. That would be cool and an effective use of all of our talent and social
Yeah.
networks and such.
The other thing is the CNCF is engaged and they are amplifying essentially anything that we push out. It's just we're the ones like they want the messaging to basically originate with us as the authority on the, you know, what's actually happening.
Right.
Is the main thing.
So I don't think that we currently have a LinkedIn account that we own. We should probably make one of those. Never thought about that before.
Yeah, to be honest, me either. I try and avoid LinkedIn at all possible, but there is
Yeah.
a
Same.
group of people that
There is a large group of folks that do get their news from LinkedIn. Yeah.
yeah.
Just because it's not the social network that's not blocked at their company.
We also had a discussion during the SIG ContribEx call this week about maybe creating an unofficial official Mastodon. So we
point.
haven't heard anything from the CNCF or from the Linux Foundation really on creating a Linux Foundation server for Mastodon. So we may want to go a little rogue.
Yep.
Create an unofficial one.
I would say it is time to, you know, basically create a like our own, whether it's on Hackaderm or something like that. That's fine. The key thing that I would do is make sure that we have one of the things to link back the identity to show that it is actually coming from the project.
So you need a PR for like the dev site.
Yeah, or something like
thing
that.
in
The
header
realm
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we have to be careful which network we choose because various places have different rules. And I know Hackyderm has some pretty specific rules about, but I don't think it would matter in the Kubernetes community instance.
The other thing to just be aware of is that us adopting a server is not a endorsement of that server itself.
Right.
By the project.
Yeah.
And if needed, we can change it later. It's not like it's a decision then for life, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Even because the lifetime of Mastodon service is not exactly stellar, so I'm pretty sure that we will outlive most of the instances. But yeah, I think it will be important to start to spread to be present in other places. So yeah.
And is it also not a bad idea to ask some of the SIG leads and chairs who have massive followers in the Twitter and somewhere in
we can go direct to those folks.
Because they can reach the real Kubernetes community as well, so they get a word about it.
Yeah, we can also post in like, I don't know, channels within the Slack to be like, there's a message out.
Yeah,
please retweet.
I would actually say this will probably warrant an announcement, like when we do make this change, actually in the announcement channel. Everyone that's contributing to the project knows this stuff. It's just it's the end users that don't.
Does DEMS tool change it or does it just identify it?
Sorry, it identifies it. It does. Okay. It's not gonna.
I just want to make sure I'm writing the right thing. Yeah.
Because a lot of stuff, you know, is going to be controlled by, you know, GitOps someplace or something like that. So it's like you change it and then it's going to notice a diff and then it's going to change it back again.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay, cool. Easy enough. I just want to link to it to be sure.
Indeed. So there's a lot to explore here. This activity outside of Twitter conversation here, as I am the social media lead, I should probably work on creating those extra accounts where we don't have them, like on LinkedIn. We don't have like a community account on Reddit as far as I'm aware. Right. Okay. So an account on Reddit, an account
we would
on
need
LinkedIn.
to use like the official Kubernetes ones or CNCF ones that are there, if there is one.
Would that be better? Or okay. Well, so just create our own.
On LinkedIn there isn't one, but like Reddit definitely has Kubernetes, right? Like we should post in there and ask the admins to pin it potentially.
Oh,
that kind of stuff.
Thakin is an admin.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So we're saying we should use existing accounts on Reddit?
Yeah, I would say just use your existing accounts on Reddit for now.
Yeah.
I haven't seen too many vendor specific or even like project specific accounts on there.
We could be weird if we wanted to. So tasks for me to create LinkedIn, figure out what we're doing on Reddit, I guess, and also figure out what to do with Mastodon.
I can help you on the Mastodon front. I feel like I can
Yeah.
manage that if need be.
I'm pretty sure that Hachyderm has a special process for entities, so we can look into that.
I'm a Hachyderm admin too.
Oh, nice.
Still. So yeah, let me know if you want me to short fuse something.
I would also like to learn more from you about what tool you're using to post from on both Twitter and Mastodon. So
Buffer.
we can talk about that later. Is it just Buffer? Okay.
Buffer supports
sort that out.
Mastodon now. So it's awesome. Yeah.
Cool. Alrighty. Any other new items or updates, big wins? Not at the moment, I think. Alrighty. And with that, we will move to the board. Because that's a thing that exists. I know I still haven't moved a lot of stuff over here, but
there's more stuff from last time, so I guess that the access is not an issue.
we did have one person who tried to add something but wasn't able to. We posted in the Slack about that just to make sure, because we didn't expect them to be able to, because I think they were not an org member. But we posted in the Slack to track that and make sure.
Yeah, that's your message. Yes.
Yep. So shall we start with the SIG Spotlight Kept Reading Club? Well, it's not really SIG Spotlight, then, is it?
It's a spotlight. Yes, that's
Yes.
on the same stage as last week. Actually, I noticed that I had shared a link to a previous version, so I resent the correct one with the right answers. So that's still ongoing. This is a draft, so there's not a lot. Actually, I will add in the description. I will add the link to the Google Docs.
Exactly what I was about to ask for.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Perfect.
SIG architecture. I've assigned the 3 leads there. Actually, you see all those faces there to the issue. So and ask them again to take a look. So this one will at least be useful to understand if actually having a real issue has any impact. It's like an A/B deployment strategy. We've tried without an issue. Now we'll try with an issue and see if there's any actual difference. But apart from that, still no advances. And
the one with the issue, that was the SIG architecture spotlight again?
It is. If you click that
Yeah, okay.
one, that's a real, you can see it already. It's contributor site. It's
Yep.
a real.
Yeah, I remember you discussed that we were trying this. Cool.
Yeah.
Moving on.
The other ones in draft, they are draft because supposedly you can click a button and create an issue with them. Although we're not really, we can bypass that and just delete it or move them to done. And then we have the SIG networking one, which was being worked on by
Sujay.
PJ, exactly. Sorry.
Yeah. I think Sujay wasn't able to create this because he's not the org member. So yeah.
Yeah, but I've been talking with him in Slack, and so he has the process, he has the templates that we use, and is apparently well in progress with this.
Perfect.
So.
And there's also another contributor experience article that is in progress?
Yes, that is the one that Avinash mentioned last week. So I went to the threads. I thanked the contributor, asked for a link with the ability to provide some comments, which they shared, and that's where we are at the moment. So I do have a couple of suggestions on the draft that's in Google Docs. I will add them by this weekend. Avinash, I think that you also have access, right? I tested it and it works for me, so I can add comments. Essentially, it's stuff around like linking to other articles and stuff like that. And after that, I've also shared the process, so we will convert it to Markdown and then open the PR with co-authors, etc. So this is flowing, and I think will flow smoothly because the process is well understood now.
Sounds good. I'm going to add little notes on these like I normally would in the table to keep track of things.
Actually, it would be great if even in a draft, you could add like comments, like an issue, because that would really allow us to see the history of it.
Yeah. So do you, sorry. So do you think I should add a comment like this as well to like this one? Is it weird to do like regular weekly comments on an issue?
I don't
here's
think
the status.
I don't think it's a problem. I don't think that's anyone outside
You did just
of
comment
those
on this,
people. I did, yes,
Yeah.
because I wanted to notify them explicitly.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get this into the ML box, right? So it's as you prefer.
Cool.
It does show in the issue that this is part of a project board. If you open the issue in the sites, you just click on, you will see their projects, which
Lovely.
is a good
Pretty
thing,
cool.
I think. Yeah.
Cool integration. All right. Other things on here that are in progress. Adding use cases for Zapier automation. Imran?
Yeah, so there are some, I didn't link a issue, did I? Yeah, so this, I've edited some of the key points which we use and I closed the other ones. So this, feature should get us started. So I was just waiting for Atharva to get, I don't know what's the progress he made. He showed initially few things and maybe we should get started working on it. I'm not sure what's the current status. So these are the basic things like labeling, tweet length, and then notify something fails. And these are the basic things, and editing the tweet workflow. And then we decided that PR to tweet and close the issue. So these are the 5 things essentially if we consider should be fine. So this should basically get, these are the things currently in place for the current Twitter bot or Twitter automation stuff. So I think we should be fine. So these are the features, let's say we want in the new Zapier automation. And now, let's hear maybe from Atharva. Is he here? No, he's not there. So if he's back sometime, we need to see where we stand in this case.
Oh, Avinash mentioned you weren't able to comment on the issues in the board.
No, I was talking about the blog. So earlier I was able, it showed that I did a comment, but then now I'm seeing that I'm not given a comment and I'm not able to give that comment as well. So there's something happening with me in my docs.
And that was on from 0 to sub-project lead. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
alrighty then.
Going back to this, maybe I remember one point regarding this. So I think initially we discussed that we were waiting for the Zapier account, which I think he created privately for testing purpose. And then there were like discussions going on whether we should create one, and then he paid using his card, or we asked CNCF, and then something like that. If
And Bob
very-
is here.
I'm-
yeah,
I literally bug them on the daily.
I see.
I'm going to ping again.
Okay. I think
It'll
this is-
happen.
Mhm.
It'll happen eventually.
Okay. Yeah. So once it's happened, we can actually trial with this points or features we need so that we can already start using the Zapier. Yeah.
Lovely. So what will the workflow for this be that you're targeting to complete here?
So I mean, like
Like
it should
someone
take-
using it.
So it should so it should be the PR to tweet. So that's the thing.
Okay.
So that's the starting point. And in once the PR is raised, so it should have a label. That's the PR label thing. And then we should check for the content in the PR, the tweet content stuff. And if something doesn't work, we should notify the PR creator or that it doesn't work. And then once the PR is enabled and Zapier puts it in the buffer, then it should we should close the issue. Yeah. And also
Perfect.
like editing has to be considered as well. If something like we do the rerun part.
Right. We did talk about that.
Hmm.
All right. So it sounds like we're making progress, waiting for the Zapier account to figure
Yeah.
out.
So we have a
exactly what our next steps
rough
are.
things we have, like notes we have. So once we have the account, maybe we can really just try it out and really see what's working and what's not working. Yeah.
Excellent. And the only other thing in progress on there is this one, which I keep pinging on. At what point do we just close it for her? She said
I
3
just
weeks
close
ago
it.
that she was going to work on it. You think I should close it?
It can be reopened.
It can be reopened,
That's
yeah.
True.
Just say, we're gonna close this for now. Please reopen when you're ready to do this again. I think that's fine.
Sounds good. And that means I get to move something in the board. Ooh, also a status that we're missing here. It's not really done. It's closed. Do we want a different status for that, or do we just want to use done for that?
What would the status be? If we
Like-
didn't-
Like the one you closed right now, the issue you closed. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's not really like it got done.
I would
Yeah.
It's like a won't fix.
Won't fix,
Right,
more like.
yeah. I
Should
would
we add a won't fix column? Fix column?
Yeah, that's what we discussed last time. It's we can add new values to the status. It's on the definitions. I can
Yeah.
do it, or anyone else, I
Yeah.
suppose. So we just need to settle on one. We can one fix is fine for me, so we can add the one fix status there. I can do it.
It now exists.
It now exists. Oh, okay, perfect.
Ta-da. Ta-da.
Alrighty. So
Yeah,
I have moved that one to won't
I do
fix.
have a couple of won't fix issues which I closed, so I think I can also link it up. here.
Perfect. Yeah, track them in the board.
Yeah.
Using the board. We'll see how unwieldy this gets. Excited to find out. All right. So moving on from the in progress items. Well, one thing that's already unwieldy, there's quite a few things in done. So it's hard to tell if anything has been moved to done in the last week that we don't know about. I don't think anything has. So moving over to to-dos, checking on their progress. There's a few spotlights in to-do, which I assume no one is working on. And then the one thing that I have at least is the KubeCon EU tweet planning. I did talk with Sujay about this. He wants to shadow for social media lead. So I'm going to work with Sujay on doing this right after this meeting. So expect next week to be able to start working on tweets for KubeCon EU. Isn't everyone excited to do that again? Always good time. I think it's good work. Relatively lightweight. So there will be progress on that. Any other items that folks want to talk about in the spotlights that are waiting in to do? Probably not. I think we've got plenty of other work. Yes.
The 6 CLI is in progress. I had
Oh,
talked.
wonderful.
I had talked to the chairs, and one of the batch lead is interested to interview. My doubt is it compulsory to only interview chairs, or we can also interview batch leads?
Wait, repeat that.
I think he meant probably the leads, the tech leads, huh?
The tech
Yeah,
leads instead of
they-
like the chairs.
Yes.
Yeah. So the way that this originally was intended to work was we would reach out to the SIG in their channel and ask who is the best person to interview for the spotlight. So yeah, if that's the best person to interview for the spotlight, then do it. Just usually ends up being the chairs. But if it's the team leads or tech leads here, then that sounds great. So let's move that into in progress. Thank you and congratulations. And that was SIG CLI, right? I did get the right one. Also, Avinash asked 3 minutes ago, do we have a label feature? What was that? Did we answer that? I don't think so.
I was talking about the board. Do we have? a
Oh, do we
feature?
have labels on the board? I think they show up somehow. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
You know, it doesn't look like it. Yeah, that seems like
It-
something we should have.
Mm.
It has to be an issue.
It has to be an issue to have.
Yeah,
labels.
it has to be an
If it's an issue, you can then unhide the column
Right.
that should exist by default, which contains all the labels. It's on the settings of the, not on the settings of the entire project, but on the settings of the list. Not sure if it appears on the board as well.
Yep.
But it shows the labels that are attached to an issue, not to a draft of an issue or PR.
Yep.
All right. So that's how it works right now. We'll see how that goes. All right. So that's all I've got in the board. Any other items for the board?
other
before we move
items
into the
for the-
notes?
Getting feedback.
Yeah, I think that was Frederica.
Should we have the to-dos
Should we have
for
the-
the blogs?
Should we have to do for the the new blogs?
Yes.
That's a good point.
Please do.
Probably yes. Do we want to create those as issues or do we want to just create them as items here? I guess we can create it as an item and then add an issue, right? Federico, do you know?
Yeah, well, I think that both are fine. Sorry for the background noise, by the way. I'm already driving.
All good.
So we did have this meta discussion on whether we would start creating issues for things, or if we should just keep them as drafts. I've opted for most of them to keep them as drafts, except for that SIG architectural one, which I want to test how it works. Apart from that, if we follow what's already done there, we can create a draft for each one of the of those ideas, or we can follow the same example of the SIG architecture spotlight one and immediately create an issue either on our own repository or even in the final destination, which is actually for that blog. I suppose it's not just the contributor site, but actually the main blog, the main site, right?
Yeah, so like I think you mentioned there.
I would create a draft now,
Yes,
and
that's
at least it would enable us to keep track, and then we can decide if we want to create another one or not.
well, Like you mentioned, there's an ability to convert to issue. So that answers the question. Registry.kh.io blog on mirroring and DIMS tool is what I'm going to call this one for now. And that is in to do. I'll create one as well for registry.kh.io social media as kind of an umbrella item. Cool. And in this one, I'm gonna edit the description. Mention Twitter, Mastodon, LinkedIn, and Reddit. All right. So those now exist in the board. Thank you. That was a good call.
I'm opening an issue right now to fix the 7 blogs on the AWS blog that mention case.gcr.io.
Nice. Good catch. Impressive. Did you set up automation to find those that quickly?
No.
You just look through?
So for whatever reason, I have levels of access that are way higher than my peers on WordPress for us. So yeah, I just logged in and was like, hey, let me just search. I did a search. It was only 7 posts. And I was like, hey, do you have like a import export thing? How do you want to handle this? And basically it was do this.
All right. Nice.
So yeah.
Good work. Alrighty. So with that, we're already almost at time. Are there any important table items that we need to go over? Should I just kind of start running through them? Guess I might as well just start running through them. So for context, we just recently started using the board and some of our work is still tracked in this table at the top of our notes doc. So for the first one, this is one of the backlog tech team items, which we should probably put into the board as a to-do. Restarting the Kanban board, that is well underway. You kind of tweets, we will make progress right after this meeting. Owners files, I do still have that one to fix. I was trying to get up early and do that this morning, and then it didn't happen, so I'm going to do that right after this as well. SIGs.yaml needs an upstream marketing text update. Did someone did that, right? Yeah. Is that done? Yes, that is merged. So I'm going to close that out. Ooh, maybe we should put that in the board and move it to done. I'm going to put myself a comment to do that. Move to board as done. We also had that other PR that came in this week. Also add other role handbook PR. As done. So Nitish had found a spot in our storytellers role handbook where we referred to the marketing council, which is not a thing anymore. So they did a PR and fixed that and it's already done. So I'll update the board with that as well. Imran, Slackbot is still broken. This is another one of those items that's prioritized below Zapier. If role descriptions ever need updates, we can always do that. Evergreen issue. Contributor site, create a project overview page.
This can be closed. I have closed it, so I've closed the issue, so you can, it's actually
okay.
And it's done actually, so the issue is closed. I closed the issue,
so move to board,
yeah,
and mark it as won't fix. Cool. SIG Spotlight. We've got several of these in progress. Kept Reading Club, SIG CLI, networking. There's another one, architecture, right? But these are all on the board, so we don't really need this on the table anymore. So I'm gonna just remove this from the table because it is effectively being tracked in the board. Katakota to GitHub code spaces move. Anyone have any updates on that? Bob left already, didn't he?
No,
Mhm.
I'm here.
Oh, you're here. Lovely. Oh, cat,
Um,
please. Anyway, updates?
So no updates on getting over to Codespaces.
Okay. But we'll continue to keep an eye on it. I actually had someone try out one of the tutorials on our docs this week, and it's on Katakota. So that was awkward.
Those all get turned off in like
At the
2
end of
weeks.
March,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. That's what I was telling them. Alrighty, we will keep an eye on it. And we also need GitHub Codespaces stuff separately for the new contributor course before we start talking about that, right? Ooh.
Ideally, in worst case, if it doesn't happen, we can still talk about it like around KubeCon, but like ideally we'll have an environment for people to actually test and do stuff with by then.
Promote new contributor workshop content. Adding to the board right now. On hold until Codespaces integration.
At least it's up.
We'll go with that. Cool. Next item. This is another one of those tech tasks.
It's actually as well. It's I've closed them and I've linked to the umbrella
Okay,
issue.
this is
so
one of the
I'll move
ones.
it to I'll move it to the board so that we can close this. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and this
Close
is
them.
closed. So
Everything is
I can just close this one.
remove them. Yeah, I can just remove it. Yeah, it's fine.
I mean, it's kind of part of ongoing work, so I don't
Yeah.
think you need to move it to the board on its own.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to delete that one.
Mhm.
Do I need to do that with some of the others that I already passed? We've got 3 minutes. I'll do that later. Where are we? This blog is now closed and marked as won't fix in the board. So goodbye. Wow, this feels great. Keep track of SIG docs, blog, subproject process changes. I feel like the time for this has kind of passed. Just close this. I think we'll just take this off of here. Doesn't even need to be moved to the board because we were just kind of trying to make sure that we were supporting the blog subproject. So got rid of that one. Security comms guidelines. Let's move this to the table as a to-do that will never actually get done. I'm going to do that right now. Comms guidelines for sensitive security topics. A to-do item, which will be there forever. Oh, there's useful resources here. I should probably move that over. Why is it doing that? And I will remove this row and add that description. Scheduling tweets for non-contributor comms members, that's tracked otherwise. Do we have that tracked in the board technically at the moment?
Yeah, that's the part. I've closed all the issues, which is
Right.
So I need to link them so that this issue has the cross-linking to all the closed issues, so it should be fine, I guess.
Okay, so I can just remove this one, right?
Yeah.
And Zapier, I'd say that's tracked in the board, so I'll just delete that. Deleting. Nice. Chris, you had notes about administration know-how.
I think we've got that all in there now.
Yeah, did we incorporate that into the sub-project lead role effectively? Just confirm
so.
that and then
I'll
remove
check.
this.
Yep. Like, can you actually tag me in that? Like @chrisshort.net.
Can I do that? Chris
There you go. Perfect.
Where's
just-
Chris? I
just
don't have
right
you in-
there.
Oh yeah, I
No.
do. You are right there.
Literally right. Thank you. Perfect.
Perfect. Contributor podcast concept. Mark is not on here, so that will continue to sit as a concept. We are at 9 a.m. Contributor Gold Star is another weird concept that maybe someday we'll do something with, but probably not. And deprecating this table in progress. All right. So thank you everyone for joining today, and I will see you all next time.
Thanks as well. Bye.
Later.